Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On 4th July 1902, he woke early, went to the chapel at Belur Math and meditated for 3 hours. He taught Shukla Yajurveda, Sanskrit grammar and the philosophy of yoga to pupils, and later discussing with his colleagues a planned Vedic college in the Ramakrishna Math. At 7 p.m. he went to his room, asking not to be disturbed, and thus attained the feet of God. Swami Vivekananda lived, breathed, believed that a country's future depends on its people, and his teachings focused on human development. He wanted to set in motion a machinery which will bring noblest ideas to the doorstep of even the poorest and the meanest. On this day, 112 years later, MOP Vaishnav College for Women, Chennai 34 and Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram, Chennai, cordially welcomes one and all for the one-day national seminar on dimensions of yoga and its dynamics to bring Swami Vivekananda's belief to action and set the momentum for a bright and noble future. By means of invocation, the being awakens, and awakening becomes fullness. Invocation by Apurva Ravindran, 2nd BCom ISM, MOP Vaishnav College for Women.
Okara sannibam ibananam indubalam muktagrabindum amaladyutim yekadantam lambodaram yekadantam lambodaram kadachaturbhujam adidevam dhyayet mahaganapatim matisiddhi kadam.
Vedic chanting by the teachers of KYM.
Shri Krishna Vagishayatishwarabhyam Samprapta Chakrankarna Bhashya Saram Srinut Narangendra Yatau Samarpitaswam Shri Krishnamaryam Guruvaryamide Virodhe Kartike Mase Sharatara Kritodayam Yogacharyam Krishnamaryam Guruvaryamaham bhaje Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangaistuştuvagumsastanubihi Vyashema devahityadayuhu Swasti na indro vridhashravaha Swasti na pusha vishvavedaha Swasti nastakshyo arishtanemihi Swasti no brihaspatir dadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Flowers are the music of the ground from earth's lips, spoken without sound. Floral welcome to the dignitaries on the dais. Dr. R.P. Pankaja, Head Department of Sanskrit and Languages, MOP Vaishnav College for Women, and one of the conveners of this event, will welcome the gathering.
अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. Today is a very remarkable day in the history of MOP Vaishnav College for Women, because what was just thought of as an idea has taken the shape of a seminar which is of a national magnitude, and it's a matter of pride for our college to have an association with the doyen of yogis, Yogi Krishnamacharya, and the tradition which has been carried forward by his disciples in the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram. My pranams to all of you for having graced this occasion, and it's my pleasure on this occasion to welcome one and all for this esteemed seminar on dimensions of yoga and its dynamics. It all started as just an idea, as I was talking to Dr. Lata Satish, the managing trustee of Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram. We were just talking. I'd been to the faculty of Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram one day. I was talking to Dr. Jayaraman and the CEO, Mr. Swaminathan, just to have a small workshop for our students, especially focusing on the Sanskrit students to begin with, so that their exposure to yoga and knowledge of Sanskrit also improves. We also wanted to show the youth of today, mainly our students, that yoga does not just confine itself to performing a few asanas, but it is much more. And this discussion is what grew into a seminar which we are all assembled for today. It's a matter of pride for me on this occasion to welcome the trustees of the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram, Sri Sridharan and Dr. Lata Satish, and above all, an expert who is also going to be the chief guest and who is going to deliver the keynote address for the day, Dr.B.R.Sharma, and the Bhishma Pitamaha of MOP Vaishnav College, who is leading us by example, Shri Parthasarathy sir. It's my proud moment to welcome you all. I would just like to give a brief mention on the objectives of this seminar, because I don't want to take a long time between you and the experts that we have today. The chief objective, I should say, is to show that the right intervention of yoga helps the students, the youth, the young and old alike, I should add, to overcome not only the illnesses of the body, but also to strengthen the mind. And also to highlight the fact that yoga is a science which is a knowledge of philosophy and a repository of management principles, etc., which can be practiced by all of us in our day-to-day life. These dimensions of yoga and the dynamics of their operation for meaningful utilization and furtherance of this time-tested wisdom. So it is with this objective that we have this seminar being conducted today, and to deliver the keynote address we have with us Dr.B.R.Sharma. He is known to all of us who are familiar with this subject, but for the benefit of the youth who are present here, I would just like to speak a few words on making all of us understand how wonderful a personality is with us today. Dr. B.R.Sharma is associated with Kaivalyadhamma Yoga Research Institute, Lonavala, for the last 3 decades, Currently, he is a principal of GS College of Yoga and Cultural Synthesis, Kaivalyadhamma, Lonavala. He is a research officer for 14 years and has more than 3 decades of experience in philosophical literary research in yoga. Since 1985, Dr. Sharma is actively engaged in personal research as well as supervising and executing research projects particularly related to ethical, socio, philosophical, spiritual aspects of yoga. And these are the aspects which we are going to see today. He has participated in international, national conferences and symposia, and above all, he is a much sought after person and working as a chairman, board of studies for various universities and institutions across the globe. He is a chairperson for various committees as well as the organizing committees of international organizations, international conferences. So, it's a proud matter for Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram and MOP Vaishnav College to have you with us today. We look forward to your wonderful thoughts to be shared with us. And once again, on behalf of the Department of Sanskrit, MOP Vaishnav College, and the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram, the research department of Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram, I take a matter of pride to welcome you all. It's also my matter of honor, I should say, to welcome all the delegates who have so warmly consented to be a part of the seminar. A hearty welcome to you. A hearty welcome to our alumni, I should say, Mrs. Nritya Jagannathan. She has also been a part of it. A very warm welcome to you, Nritya. I welcome the Controller of Examinations, Dr. Ramachandraji, for being with us. And let us all look forward to a wonderful day today, which I am sure is be happening so. Thank you.
As a mark of integrity and security, to walk through the maze of human life safely. Lighting of the Kuttuvilakku.
No, I understand. He told me. Okay, so we will light the lamp.
Thank you. Dr. Lata Satish, Managing Trustee, Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram, Chennai, will felicitate the gathering.
It's a honor to be here with dignitaries on the stage and off the stage, and I take this opportunity to seek the blessings of our Acharya, Sri Krishnamacharya and Sri T.K. Deshikachar, who have given this knowledge to us and through us to reach out to all the people. And I take this opportunity to thank MOP Vaishnav College, its management and student staff community for giving us an opportunity to be here and share this knowledge with you. And all the best for the seminar. Let us all join together, learn, share and spread this. Thank you very much.
Shri S. Parthasarathi, Senior Management Committee Member, MOP Vaishnav College for Women, will felicitate the gathering.
First, I congratulate Professor Pankajam for organizing an excellent seminar in yoga, representing various schools of yoga in India and some of the major institutions, people who are connected with some of the major institutions, presenting their papers and their views on the dynamics of yoga. I am very happy that we have participants from many places, and other things, they will all get benefit from yoga. Yoga is one of the important contributions from our civilization and culture to the world, and then it is followed everywhere. It is make us keep our health and other things. It's entirely on the basis of our maintaining our health, and not merely at the physical level but also at the mental and spiritual level. We have at various levels in which you can have that one in terms of it. And then the present lectures will be, I am sure, will be of benefit to all of you. I wish the international seminar all success.
Thank you, sir. It is the province of knowledge to speak and the privilege of wisdom to listen. Dr. B.R.Sharma, Principal, GS College of Yoga and Cultural Synthesis, Pune, will address the gathering. Please, sir. I kindly request the dignitaries to occupy the seats below the dais, as sir will be presenting a PowerPoint.
आरुह्य श्वेतहंसैर्भ्रमति च गगने दक्षिणे चाक्षसूत्रां वामे हस्ते च दिव्यं वरकनकमयं पुस्तकं ज्ञानगम्यं वन्दे तां परमेश्वरीं भगवतीं बुद्धिं प्रदां शारदाम्। So, namaste to one and all. First of all, let me thank to the organizers for inviting me. First time I am visiting Chennai, and this credit goes to Dr. Lata Satish and all the organizers who have invited me to this seminar. To my surprise, the organizers have assigned the responsibility of delivering the keynote speech. With due humility, let me express how they have honored me, yet at the same time, how inadequate I find myself in front of a learned gathering. Most important is that I was very happy when I came to know this topic, that at least the organizers could think of such type of topic, and they could think of organizing a seminar, because there are so many things going on in the society today, and there is a need to organize such type of seminars so that these researchers, the sadhakas, the yoga lovers can contemplate on the classical as well as the contemporary understanding and practices of yoga, and so that this classical aspect which is being missed today, the essence part of classical yoga which is missing today in our practices in contemporary times, it should be re-established. So before I take up my topic, that topic is yoga, classical and contemporary perspective. Again, in the beginning, in the welcome note, it is said that there are students, and how these students can make use of this yoga vidya for their all-round development. So this aspect should also be taken care of. In the beginning, let me make it clear that I am a bit prejudiced about the classical aspect of yoga, because I am a man of tradition and very little interested about the contemporary aspects, because in this contemporary times the essence of classical yoga is missing, and I would highlight in front of you the classical part first, and while describing the eightfold path of yoga, what the essence we are missing today, that will be discussed before you. So this presentation is a summary, is presented before you. The classical purpose of yoga and the purpose of yoga practice in contemporary times. What is yoga? Is it an end or is it mean? Today we are just focusing on the mean aspect, the procedural aspects, but we are not thinking about the ultimate aim. Schools of yoga, therefore it is necessary to understand little bit about the schools of yoga and also the Ashtanga yoga. As I mentioned that along with it, its missing part in contemporary understanding and practice of yoga. What is needed today? What we can add? And there will be a concluding remark. So, please. The classical purpose. Before I take up this aspect, let me tell you the basis of yoga. In the beginning, when our seers and sages, they were contemplating, they have devoted their whole life in understanding the life as well as the phenomena associated with it, and they have concluded that so long we are not paying attention to our day-to-day activities as well as the activities of the Mother Nature, we cannot escape from suffering, from pain. And therefore, they have suggested that we have to develop an awareness to our activities. This is what is the base of yoga. Now, in this regard, in the beginning there was a prayer. We should understand why we are reciting prayers. It does not mean that we all are sitting in this hall and only we are here. No, there are the natural forces also. We are praying only with a view to develop harmony between ourselves as well as the natural forces which are working around us. That is what is the purpose. And at the end we are talking about Shanti, Shanti, Shanti 3 times. Why we are reciting this Shanti, Shanti 3 times? So, as you know, that our sages and saints, they have devoted their whole life with a view to understand this, why we are suffering. Our philosophy is based on this aspect, threefold suffering. We call it Adhyatmic suffering, Bhautik suffering and Devik suffering. How to overcome this suffering? If you analyze, you will be able to understand that we cannot overcome this threefold suffering permanently through the man-made means. Is there any other mean by which we can overcome this threefold suffering? I think that there's no time to explain, analyze the threefold suffering, but I will give you one example and will proceed further. Suppose there is a fever and we go to the doctor. Doctor says it is only because of the tonsils, and he gives you certain pills and you become all right. We cannot give guarantee, our doctor cannot give guarantee that the same problem will not be repeated again. It can be repeated once again. Similarly, this is what is the physical aspect. Now, in the mental aspect, whatever we want, we may not get it. And whatever we get, we may not be able to possess it. We may be able to possess, but we may not be able to enjoy it. So this is what is mental pain. We cannot overcome this pain through man-made means. Similarly, the bhautik pain, suppose there is a terrorist problem today, or there is a what you call the snake bites or dog bites. Again we take injection, but it does not mean the same problem cannot be repeated again. Dog can bite once again. So there is no permanent solution. Earthquakes, tsunami, we cannot. So what is our sages and saints, they say that there is a mean by which you can overcome this threefold suffering permanently. What is that? Just try to know who am I. Our Indian philosophy, our yoga philosophy starts from here. Who am I? Try to understand. So they have given us a strategy to understand this or to actualize this, who am I. And what is that strategy? It is applicable not only to yoga, not only to Buddha, not only to Mahavir, but in all the philosophers, Indian philosophers, they have accepted this strategy, this technology. But we call it Chaturvyuha. Chaturvyuha, fourfold strategy. As in medical science, there are fourfold strategy. Disease, cause of disease, the health and means to achieve that. The Bhaishajya we call it. It is a treatment. These are the four pillars of this strategy. The same strategy is used by the Indian philosophers. What is that? If I talk in terms of Patanjali, then he say, Heyam, number one, Heya, that which is to be avoided. Heya, Hetu, cause of the Heya, that which is to be avoided. Hetu. Hana, Han means that state where is only a feeling of well-being. And then there is a Hanopaya, there is treatment. The same strategy is used in Indian philosophy. Let us understand little bit in short and we'll proceed further. Now, they say that Heyam, as Patanjali says, Heyam Dukkham Anagatam. The pain which is not yet come is, but before we analyze this aspect, we have to understand one thing, as Yajnavalkya has said in his Yajnavalkya Smriti, he says, Sukhasya Dukkhasya na kopi data, parodadati kabuddhi resha. Aham karomiti vritha abhimana, swasutram karma sutram grathita hi loka. So, no one can give you pain and pleasure in this world. Number one. If you think that you are getting pain because of someone, it is your kubuddhi, it is not a proper thought. Aham karomi, I have done so many things but the people are not taking care of me now. It is also a false notion. You cannot do anything for anybody. Then who is responsible for our pain and pleasure? He says, so karma sutram, whatever the deeds we have done in the past are responsible for our pain and pleasure today. No one else is responsible. The same thing is said in Tulsi Krita Ramayana. Ko na kahu sukh dukh kar data, nij krit karma bhog sab bhrata. It is the same everywhere. But here, if you contemplate upon this pain, it is created by us. No one else is responsible. How? If you this particular object is pleasurable for me, but the same object may be painful for someone else. So object in itself is not painful or pleasurable. We impose our thought on the object and thereby the object becomes pleasurable and painful for us. This is to be kept in mind. On this background, our sages and saviors have given thought to this understanding and they have classified all kinds of suffering on the three heads. That is what we have discussed about Adhyatmic, Bhautik and Devik. To overcome, they have given us a strategy, as I said, the fourfold strategy. Now, coming to that, Patanjali says, Heyam Dukkham Anagatam. The pain which is not yet come can be avoided. Now, here we have to understand, whatever the karmashaya, whatever the storehouse of different experiences we have collected on our consciousness cannot be removed, cannot be washed away. This is to be kept in mind. So, whatever we have at our disposal, we have to experience it. And whether it is a painful or pleasurable, so you can avoid only the future suffering. You can avoid only the future karmashaya. This is what Patanjali wanted to say in crux. Number one. He says, what is the cause of the problem? He hetu. Then he comes, he says, drashta drishya sanyogo heya hetu. What is hetu? Drashta means the said principle, the conscious phenomena, and the seen principle. We have misidentified ourselves with that which we are not. We have misidentified ourselves with this body. We have misidentified ourselves with the mind, with the intellect. This body, mind, intellect, everything, it comes from the material phenomena. But we have misidentified ourselves with this and therefore there is a problem. And this misidentification is only because of the perception error. We call it avidya, mithya gyan. It is only because of avidya. So, if you are able to remove this perception error, avidya, there will be no misidentification. Tad abhavat sanyoga abhavo hanam tadrishe kaivalyam. That is what is the ultimate state of the pure consciousness. So, if you tad abhavat, when there is a no avidya, absence of avidya, absence of perception error, there will be no misidentification, and when there is no misidentification, the true self abides in its true nature. That's all. This is the Kaivalya, this is the liberation, this is the freedom. How to achieve this? Patanjali says, Abhiplava hano paya. Abhiplava viveka khyatir hano paya. Abhiplava, unshaking. The knowledge which is based on your inference as well as on the heard knowledge is not helpful, my dear friends. And therefore Patanjali in the first chapter makes it clear that Shrutanuman Pragyabhyam Anya Vishya Visheshartatvat means whatever you have heard, it is not your knowledge. Whatever you have inferential knowledge, it is not useful. So what knowledge? Knowledge which is based on your own concrete experiences is said to be that kind of wisdom which can help you to overcome this perception error, avidya, and then this misassociation. That is what is anupaya. Now question comes, how to develop this unshaking knowledge, unshaking wisdom. How to develop this? Then Patanjali says, only yoganga anushtanat. There comes the role of yoga. And yoga is a common platform not only for Patanjali or Sankhya or this or that, but almost all the philosophers in Indian thought. All have used. If you go to Nyaya Sutra, Gautam Sutra, he says, no, without samadhi you cannot achieve to that, or you cannot overcome the threefold suffering permanently. So therefore in all it is a common platform. So here comes the yoga. Now about its origin, people used to say that 5,000 years ago. I would say that some Hiranyagarbha, we do not know in Mahabharata, it comes that some Hiranyagarbha is the originator or expounder of yoga. Hiranyagarbho yogasya vakta na anya puratanaha, something like that. But we do not find anything written document on the name of Hiranyagarbha. And who is this Hiranyagarbha? We do not know anything. Now, if you go through the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the first 4 verses of the Bhagavad Gita, this 4th chapter, you will find. He says, Imam vivasvate jnanam prahuraham abhyam. See, Lord Krishna himself says that this knowledge was imparted to the Vivasvan, the son. Son imparted this knowledge to Manu, and Manu Ikshvaku, and in between it was lost, and the same knowledge is being imparted to you, Arjuna, today. That is what Lord Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita 4th chapter. Dear friends, I would say if Vedas are considered to be a godly wisdom, and Vedas are not created by rishis, and they are said to be mantra drashtara, rishyaha, they have seen the mantras, it is said. If they have seen the mantra, it means that they have developed a vision. In that vision they could see the mantras, and whatever they could see they have written, and therefore this is not considered to be man-made knowledge, therefore it is said to be apaurushaya. So it means that these rishis were also having that kind of vision, which was created by their practice of yoga. And I would say, if you go to pre-Vedic period in this civilization, then you can mark John Marshall has made some plates on the basis of which you can say it was pre-Vedic period, it was prevalent, this Vidya was prevalent before Vedic period also. So I would say that this Yoga Vidya is as old as the human existence, and it was scattered in the scripture. Patanjali around 200 BCE took all the references and systematized in the form of Yoga Sutras, the first book of yoga on the name of yoga, systematic book. And thereafter so many developments. So this Patanjali Yoga Sutra is considered to be the parental stalk for the further developments, you can say. So this is what is the base of what you call the yoga, which is not only acceptable, but all have accepted that without yoga, even though in the different cultures, whatever the methodology they have used to actualize their own goal, whatever the procedure they have adopted, it is one and the same. The name may be different, but the procedural aspect is one and the same. The concept is one and the same. Therefore, yoga is a common platform for all. So it is a common grammar to understand the all aspects with a view to realize the actual self. coming to back to the point, the purpose is to understand the life and the phenomenon associated with it. Phenomena, this is me and this is mine. I have developed a boundary, and this is me, and this is mine, and this is not mine. I have separated myself. Okay? So whatever phenomena associated means me and mine. I am living in the boundary of me and mine. And there is a one wall, we call it ego, and this ego is nourished with the help of raga and dvesha. Raga and dvesh, this ego has two hands, the attachment and aversion. Okay, so long this is going on, I cannot escape from the suffering. We cannot understand the actual life phenomena. So to overcome the threefold suffering permanently, this was the purpose. To become aware of the lost link of oneness between ourselves and the infinite. To regain a true awareness of oneness and to realize our divine nature is the highest purpose of yoga. This was the classical purpose of yoga. Now, the contemporary, in the light of today, scientific studies all over the world, yoga has been widely accepted as multidimensional, not only found useful in molding and cultivating the human mind for the spiritual progress, but also being accepted in the academic curricula for improved learning ability. Enhanced orderliness in thinking, a method of prevention and overcoming certain disorders. Method of health and healing, a method of increasing the efficiency in work with a view to be more productive. This is what is, and way of life, those who have fed up with the existing the conditions. So this is what is the purpose of yoga practices in contemporary times. However, in recent contemporary times, let me read this because I have given thought to it. The perspective of yoga has been shifted significantly, wherein the deep and internal essence of yoga has been misconceived, misinterpreted, and reduced to a few physical exercises, undermining its other dimensions, particularly the spiritual dimension. The relative position of postures, asanas, has been elevated so as to lead people to believe that the term yoga refers to physical postures only, as well as a few breathing exercises on the name of pranayam, that the goal of these practices is nothing but only the physical fitness. Why we want health, my dear friends? To enjoy the words, or to help the others, or to realize something? What is the purpose of getting a physical health? What is the purpose behind? That we have to decide. Meditation and meditation workshops on the name of yogic dhyan is also prevalent and considered to be very powerful technique which increases all-round performance level of people in their own field. The whole and the part has been reversed, terribly misleading the confusing people about the true nature of classical yoga. Please. Such group of people claim that they give more importance to Hatha Yoga as well as to Ashtanga Yoga, but in my opinion, this exclusive one-sided emphasis on a few Hatha Yogic practices like asana pranayam need to be rethought, because if Hatha Yogic practices are not leading to Raj Yoga, if Hatha Yoga Vidya Raj Yoga Upadishyate, if it is not leading to culminating in Upanishadic literature also, there is a concept of Paravidya and Aparavidya. If Aparavidya is not leading to the Paravidya, this Vidya is useless Vidya. And therefore, Swatma Ram has made it clear in his Hatha that if this Hatha Yogic practice is not leading to Raj Yoga, then it is merely a series of gymnastic exercises, nothing else. This is to be kept in mind. Therefore, there is a need to redefine the meaning of yoga and to clarify its purpose so that the pure and pristine message of classical yoga may be understood in its true perspective. In doing so, with the help of the etymological meaning of the term yoga as well as its various forms and dimensions, as understood in classical literature, here an effort has been made to understand the true import of Ashtanga Yoga in its classical perspective, simultaneously drawing the attention towards its missing part in contemporary understanding and practice of yoga. Now, generally, people say that this is a procedural aspect, means, methods, nothing else. But if you go through the Vyasa-bhashya, and Dr. Jayaraman has translated the Vyasa-bhashya of Patanjali Yoga, on Patanjali Yoga Sutra in Tamil language. So that can be, I have not yet seen, but I have heard that he has translated in Tamil. So he knows this, Yogena Yogo Gyatabhya Yogeva Upadhyaya. Yoga itself is a teacher. Yoga can be understood through yoga only. In the beginning, the initial stage, the guru is must in the beginning, but after that yoga itself becomes guru, you know. It is said in Vyasa-bhashya. So yogena yogo gyatabhya. So it indicates that yoga has two aspects. One is sadhya, the end aspect which is to be achieved, and other one is the mean aspect through which that goal can be achieved. So yoga represents two meaning. Okay. So let us examine this statement of sage Vyasa on the basis of etymological meaning of the term yoga, different definitions thereof. I don't know how much time, 40 minutes. So someone should be there, you know, otherwise because it is a, so, pardon? Yeah, that would be better. Please send me the chit whenever the time is over. So, the term yoga has derived, everyone knows this. I am not new, nothing is new. Nothing is new under the sun, you know. So, it is the same. But yuj to unite, yuj samadho to put together or integration. Let us understand union as well as this integration. With a view to understand this integration, today we think something else, we speak something else, and we do something else. This is called disintegration. And integration is whatever you think, that only you speak, and whatever you speak, that you take to the action label. This is called integration. That we have to now assess ourselves whether we are integrated or disintegrated. Okay, we have to decide. This is a purpose to be achieved. Today we are disintegrated. This purpose this goal we want to achieve. Okay, so therefore this is and will samadho put together, unite, union. My body is made up of. Today morning when we were coming from the hotel and we were discussing, and she said, I don't know, I forget the name, Anuradha ji, Dr. Anuradha. She said that basically I am Bengali, I do not discriminate the gender, you know, isn't it? She said, मैं खाता हूँ. She used to say that, I used to say sometime, मैं खाता हूँ और तुम khati ho, something like that. So my body is made up of 5 elements. Your body is made up of 5 elements. We are sucking the same air, there's no difference at all. But man believes in division. We have divided the land, we have divided the ocean, we have divided the sky, everything is divided. We believe in division. So this division is to be abolished. Then only this concept of oneness, ekatvam manupashyan dhiraha harsha shokam jahati, Kathopanishad says. When you get established in this oneness, you know, then only there will be no harsh, there will be no happiness, there will be no what you call pain or pleasure. This is what he said. Ekatvam manupashyan, this ekatva, this oneness is to be experienced some way or other. And this is the goal which is to be achieved. How to achieve this goal? Through the restraint. And all definitions, I have put all the definitions, we'll go quickly, please. Sanyogo yoga ityukto jivatam paramatmano. This is definition available, applicable to Vedanta, applicable to Hatha Yoga, because this, according to this Vedanta as well as the Hatha Yoga, this body is considered to be the miniature. So whatever is present in the body, that is present in the outside, the cosmos, this is what, this oneness we have to experience some way or other. This is what is the ultimate goal. Please go ahead. Yoga Samadhi, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate, integration of balance or balance in yoga, which stands for total integration of human potential. These definitions are also conveying the sadhya, the end aspect of yoga. So our head, heart and hands, they should go together. This is the end aspect of yoga. Please go ahead. So now the main aspect of yoga, how to achieve this integration or this unification. There are certain means, and all the definitions, wherever you go, all the definitions, they are conveying the same idea that we have to learn to withdraw our senses and we have to culture our mind, our chitta. Chitta vritti nirodha. This is what is the ultimate crux taken by Patanjali from all the scripture and made this definition that this chitta vritti, and this chitta vritti nirodha is also misunderstood by the people nowadays. This is to be made clear to you. Now, what is that? Chitta vritti nirodha. People used to say that cessation of all the mental modification is yoga. I say, Chit is made up of threefold energy, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, which cannot be stopped, so long we are in the world. It cannot be stopped. So what to do? At this moment, this Chit is flowing towards, as in Vyasa Bhashya, beautifully it is said, Chit Nadi Ubhaito Bahini Bahati Papaya Vahati Kalyanaya. So this river of Chitta is flowing in two directions. One is towards the material side, another one is to the other side. Okay, thank you. So, generally, because of this karmashay, because of this storehouse, it is flowing towards the negative side, towards the sensory pleasures, towards the material side. The purpose of sadhana is to rechannelize this flow towards the other side. And that is, therefore, Patanjali himself says, Vritya Panchataya Klishta Aklishtaha. Aklishta. So it is flowing towards the Klishta side. And now we have to rechannelize this flow towards the other side. This is what is needed. This is what, and this will lead you towards the, and so long it is flowing towards the Klishta side, the negative side, the material side, the sensory pleasures, the reflection of this Purusha on this Chitta is like a dim light, As you make it flow towards the other side, the light increases. Okay, so you will be, so purity, what you call the Sattva Udarek, Sattva will be increased. And once the Sattva is increased, and in the third chapter, last sutra, he says, Shuddhi Samme Kaivalyam. Thus you will be able to understand your true nature. This is what it is. This is the purpose. So with the help of such procedures, we have to, please go ahead, fast. So all these definitions, they are conveying the same idea. Please go ahead. Go ahead, please. Now, on the basis of the understanding of the term yoga, it can be said that whatever is stated by Vyasa goes in accordance with the tradition and seem absolutely correct. Therefore, we can conclude that the term yoga has been used to indicate both aspects, end as well as the mean. Unfortunately, in recent contemporary times, emphasis is given to the main aspect of yoga, and there is no purpose. Purpose is the enjoyment of sensory pleasures, nothing else. So the value of yoga as a method mentioned under C, here in the form of definitions, have been practiced in some form or the other by sages and savants according to their own temperament throughout the history on the name of various yoga. However, the Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali encompasses almost all the procedures available in different yogas and can be practiced by the person of any faith, and thus seems very much relevant in the contemporary, for the modern society. Please go ahead. So all yogas different, they are overlapping. All can be divided into two parts. This is what classical aspect one should know, you know. So only Pran Sanyaman and Bhavana Yoga. All yogas can be divided into two. Pran Sanyaman, those who are tackling the energy part, this is called Pran Sanyaman Yoga, and this is Bhavana Yoga, wherein the Gyan, Bhakti and Karma consists developing a particular attitude in oneself or towards the world. This is what is the whole picture. Let us, so here in the little bit briefing, mantra sound develops the what you call the vibrations, and these vibrations give you a kind of tranquilizing effect, and therefore through the mantra ultimately the purpose is to go to samadhi. And samadhi is not that state, my dear friend, that where you have to sit in one corner of the room by closing your eyes. No, that is not the samadhi. Samadhi is a total integration of your personality, and that personality nothing. If you see a person, as in Patanjali Yoga Sutra it is said, Chit Prasadana, if you want to maintain the calmness and quietness of the mind, he says that you have to behave in the society, you know. Maitri, Karuna, Mudito, Upeksha, these are the four feelings which are to be. So if you find a person who is happy, you should be feel pity towards, compassion should be there. Such if you are in day-to-day life applying all these aspects in your day-to-day life, it means that you are in the process of this integration. So this mantra is also leading you. There are so many things on the name of mantra, hata, ha and tha. The left and right nostril, they are not flowing together. So you cannot make them flow together unless you enter the pran into Sushumna. Once the pran enters into Sushumna, and not a single practice is sufficient to do that, composite view of all the practices is needed, you know, wherein Bandha, Mudra, Kumbhaka, everything is needed, and that then only you will be able to enjoy this balance of Ida and Pingala. This is what is the ultimate purpose of Hatha Yoga. Now Laya is a kind of, it is related again to the Kundalini Shakti. Kundalini Shakti is also being misconceived today, misunderstood today. It is a prana, my dear. It is revolving at the perineum part, the universal energy which has individualized at the perineum part. It is revolving here continuously. Once this enters into Sushumna and pierces the all chakras as well as the granthis and reaches to the Sahasrara, where Shiva is, this is a Laya. We call it Mahalaya. So this is a Laya Yoga. Again, it is overlapping with Hatha Yoga. Royal path, we learn to refine our desires, emotions, thoughts, as well as the subtle impressions according to this. But this Rajso Retsor Yoga, this is again, Rajas is again Shakti, Rajso Retsor Yoga. This is again Shakti and Shiva, particularly in the classical literature. But nowadays, as Vivekananda has said, this is also what you call the Raj Yoga. Patanjali Yoga is said to be Raj Yoga. So it is a Samadhi. Raj Yoga is a synonym of Samadhi, term Samadhi. Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga. People used to say that Jnana Yoga is different, Bhakti Yoga is different. If you go through the Lokmanya Tilak's Yoga Rahasya, in the introduction part, he has made it clear. Jnana Mulak, Bhakti Pradhan, Karma Yoga. Gita set forth, I will translate it. Gita set forth the Karma Yoga, which is rooted in Jnana and developed by the Bhakti. So these two, let me make it clear that these three cannot be separated. Your cognitive behavior, your affective behavior, your psychomotor behavior cannot be separated. Similarly, these are the three faculties of human being which cannot be separated. So the Jnana Yoga represents your cognitive behavior. Karma Yoga, Tapas represents your Karma Yoga, this what you call the psychomotor behavior, and the Bhakti Yoga represents your affective behavior. So these three, you will find a profound combination of these three in the Kriya Yoga of Patanjali. Kriya Yoga of Patanjali, wherein he says, Tapa Swadhyaya Ishwar Pranidhanin Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga term is used in a singular form. It contains three components: Tapa, Swadhyaya and Ishwar Pranidhana. Tap is a what you call your psychomotor behavior, wherein you have to do Karma Yoga. Then Swadhyaya is Jnana Yoga, and you can cognitive behavior. And Bhakti Yoga, it is Ishwar Pranidhana, and it is what you call. I have written articles, they are published in Yoga Mimamsa, you can go through in detail, but this is what is the crux. So Patanjali has what you call this classical Gyan Bhakti Karma, this is clubbed in the Kriya Yoga, you can mark it, okay. So this is what, please go ahead. And this is again the explanation, it is available in the thorough article, limbs of Bhakti Yoga, limbs of Mantra Yoga, please go ahead, limbs of Adi Yoga, Lay Yoga, Raj Yoga, and this is Bhakti, please go ahead, the Navada Bhakti, Karma Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali. Here would like to pay little attention. The Sutra Treatise of Patanjali, divided into 4 chapters, is a psychological exposition of yoga, as its field of action is to refine the activity of Chitta, and Chitta represents the whole psyche. Chitta represents the subtle body. Please keep in mind. It is not the mind stuff people used to translate it. It cannot be translated. It is an umbrella term, consists everything in it. So it represents the subtle body, and thereby getting absolute mastery. The whole treatise deals with the means and ways to achieve this end. Thus, keeping this theme in mind, Patanjali defines yoga as Chit Vritti Nirodha. It does not mean that a sadhaka becomes mindless. It does not mean, again, but rather he is left consciousful with a transformed mind, which due to its transparent sattvic nature can function to actualize the self as well as the not self. This is what is the purpose. The state can be achieved in and through dedicated and determined practice, abhyas and vairagya. Patanjali, as well as all above mentioned schools of yoga, develop a process of self-transformation wherein moral yamas and the niyamas, purity is the foundation and considered to be indispensable for this journey. This is to be kept in mind. One can't allow himself to be impure. Please pay attention here. Impure, insincere, untruthful and harmful to others, and the same time you may say that I am a practitioner of yoga. This cannot be accepted. Thus one has to be rooted in goodness, in purity, truthfulness, self-reliance, patience and preservation, sincerity and honesty, contentment and in selfless service. Unfortunately, these virtues are ignored in the temporary practices of yoga. Please go ahead. Patanjali defines it asana. Let here I would like to asana. Why people are mistaking, how they have misled. This is, I am highlighting the point. I am not talking in detail, but if there is a question, I can. Sthir Sukham Asanam, to sit steadily and comfortably. Today morning I was discussing with Professor Jayaraman that people have mistaken, oh, this is a grammatically, I am also Sanskrit scholar, it is grammatically correct, it is a Bahubari Samasa, Sthiran cha Sukham cha Sthir Sukham. Okay, steady and comfortable. But yoga is not a theoretical only, it is a practical science. We have to think over it. So, now here, comfortably came to be accepted by all the commentators as the characteristics as well as the technique of asana. As a consequence of this interpretation, it seems that next sutra, that is Priyatana Shaitilya Anand Samapatti Bhyam, which really provides the technique of asana, has lost its real significance and its practice, effortlessness and the engrossment with infinite, due to which asana is generally taken to be related solely to the physical body and body positioning. This could be the reason that in contemporary times we have lost the purpose of asana as yoga anga, please make it clear, in which we can transcend the body and therefore person is not overpowered by the pairs of opposites. Let me make it clear. Those who are aware of this concept of this Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Patanjali, when he is talking about Chittavritti Nirodha, he says, Abhyas Vairagya Abhyam Tan Nirodha. And when he is describing the eightfold path of yoga, he has avoided the term Abhyasa and he has introduced the new term Yoganga Anushtanat. Is there any difference between Abhyasa and Anushtana? No one has given this commentary. I have written one paper on it, not one paper, 2-3 papers. Please go through it. Abhyas is a repeated effort, but Patanjali talks about Prayatna Shaithilya in this sutra, in the second sutra, wherein we have to understand. So effortlessness is there in the Anushtana of Yogangas, and Abhyas is always one end in view. Patanjali uses this Ek Tattva Abhyasa again in 133 sutras. Ek Tattva Abhyas. He says, but there is only one end in view, Chit Vikshepa or Chit Prasadhana. Whether you want to remain in the Chit Vikshepa state or you want to achieve the Chit Prasadhana state. This is one end in view. But it is a kind of river. You have to flow with it. Whatever is happening with you, you have to accept it. This is the Anushtana which is to be understood properly. Now, the part is missing today, this part is missing today in the practice of asana. Asana is limited to the physiological aspects being practiced in the health clubs as it contributes towards endurance and flexibility of the body and has become superficial only on the physical beauty. In fact, the term sthira should directly qualify the term sukha, as sthira seems an objective of the term sukha, so as to get the meaning of the sukha sthirta, continuous flow of comfort. When you are totally engrossed with your computer, when you are totally engrossed with your study, you forget the body position. It is not representing the body position. It is a state of mind, you know. If you are in a one noble thought continuously for a long period of time, you are stay. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, learn to live like a lotus man, learn to live like a lotus. Padam Patrame Mambasa. What it means? How to live like a lotus? Let me give you the example. Lotus flows in a muddy water, but the muddy water cannot touch the lotus leaf. Number one. Number two, the raindrops cannot stay upon the lotus leaf. Now, my dear friends, let us apply this in our day-to-day life. This kiched, this mud is nothing, but whatever the experiences you have gathered on your unconscious part, whenever you see the object, you are imposing your thought on the object, you are coloring the object, and thereby you are unable to see the object as it is. Patanjali suggests, don't color the object. Okay, this is what is live like a lotus. And raindrops, when you are interacting in the outer world every day, you go on collecting some impressions, you know, knowingly, unknowingly. You have to sit, you have to do swadhyaya, at least when you are going to the bed. And just to see what is conducive for my upliftment. This upliftment again is a relative. People nowadays, this upliftment is considered to be material upliftment. That is the upliftment only. I don't consider that. You have to decide which upliftment you want. You want this combination of material as well as the other aspect. What you want exactly. And whatever is conducive for you, keep it on your consciousness, lest everything should be dropped. As the raindrop, they fall, they slip from the lotus leaf. This is what is live like a lotus leaf. This asana is representing that state of mind, not only the body position. Patanjali does not give you any asana. Swami Kubilananda has divided the meditative posture and classical postures, but everyone, even though Charandas, the latest yogi, he says that all other cultural poses, they are meant only to fit the body, you know, but this only asana, this Padmasana and Siddhasana are only the asanas, which because in that state you can fly high in the sky sometime. But according to me, you can walking, you can do the Kamalasana, this lotus posture in day-to-day life. That is what is living like a lotus in the world. So this is to be kept in mind. Now coming to the pranayam, now the same, see, Patanjali has given emphasis on silencing the activity of chitta by way of prolonging and silencing the process of breathing activities to stand still. Tasmin sati shwas prashwasyor it shows that intense practice of asana automatically leads to pranayama. The Shwas Prashwasa, which is one of the indicative of Chit Vikshepa. Shwas Prashwas is a Chit Vikshep, according to, it is a disturbing hindrance in the path, gets broken off, that is Vicheda, in a specific manner in pranayama. That in turn helps in removing all covering of consciousness, and mind becomes a fit instrument to enter into the field of dharana, that is concentration. This aspect of pranayama in contemporary times is neglected and used only for the overcoming a feed disorder. If you are suffering from this, you practice this one. If you have acidity, please practice this Shitali pranayama. If you have this problem, cold and cough, you please Bhastrika pranayama. Please, the capsule type. This is, I don't agree with this. We have to keep in mind. So please, in Hatha Yoga, when the nadis are purified by the regular practice of pranayama, prana enters into the mouth of Sushumna with the help of various practices and moves upward, leading towards the state of Manonumani, the highest level of yogic consciousness. This part is also missing today. And we claim that we are following the Hatha Yogic practices. Please go ahead. Withdrawal of senses from their respective object, refining the human instincts. This is the purpose. Ahar nidra bhayamethanancha, it is saman. It is similar to the animal as well as the ahar means food, everything, you know this. So we have to learn to refine our instincts. We have this ability to regulate all these instincts. Animals, they do not have this ability. So, but unfortunately, we know this. In spite of that, we have no time for anything in the world. Mind attached to the worldly pleasures through senses. Therefore, yoga recommends that we can control the mind through the control of sense organs. This classical practice of yoga, making the consciousness introvert, stands totally neglected in present scenario. Please. Dharana. In this stage, mind develops an ability to cultivate its scattered focusing power on an object of concentration through willful, consistent practice. When this unbroken concentration process is continued, then this concentration culminates into dhyan. Dhyan is an uninterrupted flow of consciousness towards its chosen object. When consciousness expands to its still higher stages, it is termed as samapatti, complete fusion into the chosen object, and then it goes beyond conscious and subconscious levels and assumes the superconscious flow, and there arises the pragya. We call it ritambara, intuitive knowledge. Please go ahead. All classical approaches, dimensions of yoga, prepare the sadhaka to eventually reach to this higher stage of dhyan. In this state of dhyan, Triputi, the meditator, meditation and object to be meditated is still maintained. However, prolonged and intense dhyan ultimately lead to the state of samadhi, wherein object only shines as if meditator and the process of meditation have been dropped. Thus the sadhaka regains the true awareness of that oneness with the infinite and attains peace, perfection and tranquility. A person who has achieved this stage of samadhi lives his life as a spontaneous expression of the unhindered flow of supreme consciousness and transcends all division of culture, caste, creed and color. When one becomes aware of this infinite consciousness, then the whole life is transformed. That is what the purpose of classical yoga, understood in both senses, unification or integration. The true import of meditation in classical terms is unfortunately missing in contemporary times in so-called meditation workshops. Please go ahead. Now let me explain little bit. Dear friends, when we reach to this, as Patanjali says, dharana suchi yogita mansa, mind becomes a fit instrument to enter into the field of dharana. So at this stage, because our mind is in a habit of moving, so in this state also it is moving. Say for example, you have taken the object of meditation, okay? You have taken this object. Swamiji has many dimensions, physical dimensions, He has established one institution. He has his childhood, this and that. The beauty of this process is that in the concentration state, your conscious is moving from one aspect to the other. But the beauty is that your mind is not crossing the boundary. You are not, your conscious is not shifting from Swami Krishnamacharya to Swami Kubalyananda. Okay, so your concentration is fixed, your intellect is fixed. Now, slowly in this process, whatever is dropped, it will never appear in the consciousness. Okay, so you go on dropping and you stick to one point. This dharana culminates into dhyana, wherein this triputi, continuous flow, triputi, meditation, process of meditation, and the object to be meditated, this is maintained, this triputi is maintained. When you continue your practice, thereafter, as if the meditator is dropped. Tadev arthamatra nirabhasaha swarupa shunya ev samadhi. Then it turns, only the object shines. This is what, and when object shines, the concept, you don't differentiate yourself from the object. You become one. So the concept of oneness is established within you. This is what, please go on. What we need today is to incorporate the essence of a few classical practices of yoga which can help us in rechannelizing our nature from passion to purity, from untruth to truth, from hardness to kindness, and shedding of our ego, etc. These are primary acts which are missing today in our practice, which must be cultivated through various disciplinary methods and systematic recourse of yogic way of life. And this yogic way of life consists in the wholesome food habits. You eat something else, even though in the practice of Hatapradipika says, Athasne dide yogi bashi hit mitashanaha guru upadishta margena pranayama samabhyaset. This is what you need. It's few things before the practice of, and if you practice it properly, you will be able to overcome all kinds of patakam, all kinds of disorders, as well as you will be uplifted towards your own true nature. This is one part. But if you commit mistakes during this, if you eat something and then you practice pranayama, then you may create many problems, or many disorders. So, wholesome activities, purity in thought. This is, we can achieve contentment and serene state of mind that can help us to perform our life duties with utmost love and dedication. Please. In short, the group of people who has reduced yoga to physical exercises should know that yoga deals with body, breath and mind, but is aimed at that beyond mind. Be it born in the mind that asana pranayama are just the part of the whole, and that whole is considered to be science of achieving the true purpose of life and our divine nature. So this is what is the next. Next is thank you. I wish generally, thank you very much. Generally, there is no question answer on the keynote speech. I wish that few questions should be there. If there is a time, we can entertain. Thank you very much. Once again, I would like to thank particularly Dr. Lata Satish ji, Shri Dharan ji, and the college organizers, the MOP Vaishnav College for Women, Chennai, for inviting me to this seminar, wherein I could share my views with you, and I am thankful to you all for your patient hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your thoughtful words on classical and contemporary practices of yoga and its relevance to modern world. Thank you, sir, once again. The audience is requested to kindly bear with us while the stage is being set up.
Please, once again.
No, you said we could read the articles that you had put on PowerPoint.
Yeah.
So how do we get to read them?
It is available with the Sri Jayadevanji. They both, this presentation as well as the article, full article.
Yes.
It is with the Jayaramanji, so you can collect from him.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. What you might have observed that I have not explained, even though I have given you the crux because it is a, so many things are there. If you have specific question, I can elaborate it. Thank you once again. There is no question. So I think that it has gone above. When there is no question, we accept that yes, it is.
No, they will ask later when you are drinking coffee.
Thank you. Thank you.
We would like to welcome Dr. Lalita Balakrishnan, Principal, MOP Vaishnav College for Women. Floral welcome to the Principal. Signing the MOU. Okay.
Yeah, it's nice.
We may do something. Sir?
Thank you, madam.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Hopefully more interaction.
Yeah.
For press.
You have to exchange it, no? Exchange.
You have to give one and
MOP Vaishnav College for Women will felicitate the gathering.
Distinguished dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, invitees, delegates, and my student friends. It's a red letter day in the history of MOP Vaishnav College when we have been able to associate with an organization like Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram, and there is so much food for thought. We're very grateful to Professor from Pune for having delivered the inaugural address and enlightened us on so many aspects of yoga in its various forms. Actually, all of us are more used to bhog and not yoga. We are all the time thinking of how we enjoy life, and I'm not saying it's wrong. We are here, we have only one life to live, and we should live it to the fullest and enjoy it. But there's more to life than just the enjoyment or the bhoga in its various forms. That's what we are here today to have. Yoga, be it bhakti yoga, karma yoga or jnana yoga, because there's so much it has to offer. It's in our own tradition. The world is looking up to us to learn from us, and therefore I think it is highly essential that we know it in its truest forms. When we have such elite people here to put it to us across in very, very simple terms, I'm sure we are indeed blessed to have this conference today. I am very proud of my department of Sanskrit, Professor Pankaja, the Department of Visual Communication and the Ministry of Ethics and Values, which have collaborated with Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram in putting up this show for all of us today. I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this August gathering, and I hope we all have a very fruitful and enjoyable day where yoga and bhoga can come together and make it memorable for all of us. Thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am. Gratitude is when memory is stored in the heart and not in the mind. As a token of appreciation and gratitude, honoring the dignitaries. Dr. Jayaraman will thank the chief guest, Dr.B.R.Sharma. I request Dr. Jayaraman sir to kindly felicitate Sridharan sir. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Lalita Balakrishnan ma'am to kindly felicitate Dr. Lata Satish. Dr. Pankaja ma'am will felicitate Principal Dr. Lalita Balakrishnan. With this we come to the end of the inaugural session. We will be shortly breaking for tea and coming back to the auditorium by 11 o'clock. Before leaving, I would like to give some instructions to the delegates and student participants. Those who have not yet registered, please register with the counter. Kindly wear the badges provided throughout the day because it is required to collect participating certificates at the end of the event. There are specific locations for restrooms for men and women. Kindly do not go elsewhere other than the designated area, as this is a women's college. There is a bookstall for yoga and Sanskrit related books. There is also an exhibition area in the second floor where yoga experts are available for interaction for queries regarding yoga. There are lunch and tea tokens available in the seminar kit that has been given to you. Kindly utilize them. Please do not litter the campus, and for any help, contact volunteers who can be identified by their badges. Thank you.